Hello there! And if you've been keeping up, you know I've been working on this. And I know if you've already seen it running, but there's a slight issue where it kept sharing flywheel keys. I have since then figured out the problem. You have to get that starter clutch as tight as possible, otherwise it'll keep sharing the keys. So, fortunately not too much damage happened to the flywheel from the keys shattering. There was just a couple of dings in it, nothing major. It still had the normal amount of play. I talked to my boss about it. He said the play was normal and that it was good to go. He let me borrow a tool to get the starter clutch as tight as possible. I stuck some rope into the cylinder, some compressible rope into the cylinder so that it wouldn't turn when I did it. But that tiller's rare. You have to imagine how rare the accessories are. You don't know what you're looking at right here, and I didn't for the longest of time. My dad had a tiller similar to that for the longest time, and this is the gardening attachment. This comes with two discs that kind of sit on the tines, and then a scoop. This will make 2 rows for your garden, and I'm going to be working on that next, and I'm going to try to set this up on that tiller because my dad's going to borrow it, because the Wizard tiller we have has nothing like that as far as I'm aware. But you'll see some videos on that. You'll notice that she's blowing a little bit of smoke. I don't know if you could tell. Notice how there's some blue? That's some seafoam I put in there. And you may think it's running like crap, but once it gets up to speed, it sounds way better. And if you put it under a load, it sounds a lot better. It's a lot harder to operate a tiller one-handed than you'd think. And I did take the drag stake off so it's easier to get in and out of the shed. It didn't break. I still have it. I still have the cover too. Here's the belt cover. Here's the drag stake and drag stake attachment. I just decided to take it off so it's easier to roll around. Now, what I am going to do at some point, this attaches to the coil. I've probably said this before, but I'm going to run a switch up to the top. So I have a stop switch here and a stop switch up there if anything happens. Like if the flywheel key shears again for whatever reason, instead of having to reach here to shut it off and causing more damage, my reaction time is up there. There's less time having to lean over and turn it off here. This goes directly to the coil. So that's just me. I do need to tap here, here, and on the other side. All 3 sides have been stripped. The only one I stripped was this one. The top one and the side one were stripped when I got this. So, tiller's looking complete. There is some paint issues because with every restoration, there's always an issue. This came off of a trash bag I was using to keep it out of the elements. This just came from taking on and off the cover. This came from, I don't even know. But general stuff. General heats, taking the paint off the muffler, and, gas leaked. Gasket sealer leaked, stuff like that. Still a putty. Need to get a new air filter for it, need to kind of clean it up. But I'm calling this restoration pretty much done right now because I've put so much money into it. I don't want something else to go wrong. I don't want to paint it here and then all of a sudden, with my luck, the gas tank just fractures at the bottom even though it's a brand new tank and gets all over here and then just melts away the paint and then I have to find another tank. I have another tank for it, which is the original tank, except it's filled to the brim with all kinds of different sludge, varnish, you name it, it's probably in there. But, this is probably the best tiller I've seen in God knows how long. I have the Wizard, and the Wizard tiller engine replaced this one. This engine right over there. Tiller. That motor replaced the engine on my tiller. So, it's just something that's going to have to happen. But before I do anything else to this, well, to the tiller itself, I'm going to get this Toro running first. Here's an example of trash bag I was using to keep it out of the elements. Right now it's covering the motor and the transmission. It's just a black trash bag. But this is a $37 Toro picked up at a real estate auction. It needed a head gasket, needs a carburetor, doesn't have a rewind, it just uses this rope. It has a Tecumseh TNT 100 10016C or D on it. Basically, it has an old engine that doesn't even exist anymore and the company went out of business. So waiting for a carburetor, it's going to be a while. I've ordered it the same time as I ordered a coil for that, like a couple of weeks ago, and it's still not here. So that's just how long it's going to be. But coming to this is my sister's mower, and she got it graciously donated to her by one of the members of her church, and it's not a terrible mower. It's not my favorite. I would definitely recommend a Toro over this any day, but if you just have a small yard, this will get you by. It has the Briggs motor on it, and the only thing I will complain about is the transmission and its location. The transmission should be in the back. If it's in the front, it's not going to pull you too well. if it's in the back, no matter what you really do, unless you literally pick up on the handle this much, will it stop pulling you. But this transmission, since it's in the front, all you have to do is move the handle an inch and it's off the ground and it's not going to pull. But it's a cheap mower. It gets the job done. It's nothing you'll look twice at. Nothing I'd recommend doing heavy repairs on. Like, if I were in the business to make money and it wasn't a free mower, I'd probably tell the customer he's better off buying a new mower. But if it's like a carburetor's like $30 for these. That's worth it. But generally, like on this one, I didn't even replace the carburetor. I just cleaned it. All it needed was a coil. And the coil's like $50. It's a $150 mower, $200 mower. I'll throw a coil on it. It's from 2007. It's in really good shape for something from 2007 that most of the time would have been worn and abused by now. The most worn thing is the wheels. The belt looks good. Everything else looks good. It burns a little oil, but it had no air filter in it. That's going to happen if you don't run it with an air filter. But starts first or second pull. Let's see if I can get it started real quick. Doesn't sound the best. And it sounds like there's something funky going on with the recoil starter. But it's not knocking. And it'll last them a while. So, I don't know what that is making that clicking noise. If it doesn't make it while it runs, I'm not going to bat two shits. It's probably something with the brake, maybe. Let's see if I can diagnose it just from pulling it over. Sounds like a spring or something. I don't know. Sounds like some kind of spring. Oh well. Free mower. Put $50 in it, that's it. It's nothing too terribly bad. So, that's pretty much all I've got going on. Other than me, I'm going to be building a racing mower at some point, and that's going to be fun. I'm getting a weed eater rider, front engine rider with a 12.5 Briggs on the front. And gas got into the crankcase. The rings are bad. But the rings also may have just been stuck to the cylinder, or the piston, excuse me. Because that happens sometimes when things sit. The rings get stuck to the piston and then they don't expand, and oil and gas gets through. Generally it'll burn oil and gas won't go in the crankcase since it's a sideways engine. And generally that happens with most engines. But I think the carburetor was just flooding the motor. So I'm gonna, when I get it in December, or so. I'm going to tear the engine apart, put a new set of rings on it, change the oil 2 or 3 times to get the gas out of it, and then go from there. And if it doesn't run, I'll just toss the motor or something and keep the frame, and then eventually I'll just put like a Kohler engine on it when I get enough money. Just get a Kohler Command or something. I think that's the series, Kohler Command, V-twin, whatever it may be. I've pretty much run out of topics for this video. I'm gonna put everything up before the bottom falls out. It's looking a little bit cloudy. So, yeah.